The Right Side Network, bringing you the right news for the new right. I'm Jim Hoel, and I am your voice. Thank you, and welcome to a special pregame edition of the Hoel Report. Tonight I wanted to take a little more time to get into this extremely weird and extremely bizarre wiretap story involving both the Trump and Obama administrations. This story gets weirder and weirder by the day, folks. This is extremely bizarre. Something that's certainly never been seen or heard before in the history of the American politics. Espionage on a campaign by the opposition side, a sitting Democrat president. Allegedly ordering the spying on of the Republican candidate. It's something that's never been seen or heard of before, and it's extremely bizarre and extremely alarming. And it's something that definitely needs to be investigated. And and like I said last night, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is true. I wouldn't be surprised in the least. It's amazing. It's amazing. The kind of crap that these people are trying to pull, who lost an American election, who lost the 2016 election, trying to hold on to power as long as they can, by leaking information and conducting, illegal leaks that are borderline treasonous to embarrass the President of the United States. These are all Obama people that are holdovers from the previous administration, because these sitting Democrat committees are trying to withhold as long as they can these appointees by the Trump administration. And now we get this, pretty much out of nowhere. Now we get this whole wiretap scenario going on, where allegedly the Obama administration, now whether President Obama himself ordered this, which I doubt. I doubt he actually gave the order to do this. It's unclear. It's unclear who could have given the order to do this, if an order was indeed given. That there is evidence to support it. I went into that in great detail last night, and the story just keeps getting more and more bizarre. You had Howard Dean come out today. I don't know if you remember Howard Dean. He was a one-time presidential candidate in the primaries. He was he had political aspirations, president. Yeah, at one time he was a front runner until he went on that whole that whole shouting thing that happened, that yeehaw, or whatever the hell noise that was. But anyway, you had Howard Dean come out today, basically admitting that a wiretap occurred. It basically came out and admitted that if a wiretap occurred, that there must have been terrorist reasons. So, in order for that to have happened, a wiretap must have occurred somehow. So you had Howard Dean come out, and basically he didn't deny it. I don't know how much he would actually not know about this, or what kind of knowledge he would have, but he didn't deny it. So you have that. You have a bunch of you have a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of BS, a bunch of morons going around, stabbing each other in the back, covering for each other. Some former Obama administration officials completely deny it. They've said that this is just untrue. This is a conspiracy theory. It's not true. There's no ordered surveillance of the Trump campaign. Well, the truth is otherwise. We certainly know that Paul Manafort, at the time the chairman of the Trump campaign, was under surveillance. We know that General Flynn's phone was wiretapped. We know about all these, covert operations to conduct surveillance and gather intelligence on the Trump campaign. And the bottom line is, where did they get this information? Where did they get it? You had another former Obama staffer come out today and say that he can neither confirm nor deny the existence of any wiretap. Neither confirm nor deny. So, read into that what you want, but I don't get it, folks. I don't get this at all. The story gets stranger and stranger by the day. It certainly warrants a heavy investigation. I think there should be congressional proceedings into this, because this is outlandish. Both the allegations that are being made, and if they are true. And that's even more disturbing. I mean, that's like a Watergate 2.0. Wiretapping, the presidential, the presidential candidate running on the Republican ticket, by a sitting president of the opposition party, who, by the way, Secretary of State was Hillary Clinton, who is running for president. So what in the world do we have here? I mean, what kind of nonsense was going on in the run-up to the 2016 election? It's certainly unheard of, and it's certainly disturbing, and it needs to be handled. And President Trump is now in a position to really investigate this, and investigate this, I believe he will. You had Nancy Pelosi, the wonderful, we must pass the bill so we can find out what is in it. What a scholar she is, by the way. She is a real, she's someone that kids should really look up to, folks. What a wonderful woman Nancy Pelosi is. Complete idiot, if you ask me. I don't know how the hell they allowed that woman to still remain in power as a minority of the House. She cost her party more elections, in my opinion, than anyone combined. And then to allow her to remain in her position. Hey, like I said before, it's clear that the Democrat Party doesn't know what the hell they're doing, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for us. It may not be a good thing for them, but hey, we'll take it. We'll take all these stupid mistakes and these clearly not understanding why your party was an abysmal failure in the 2016 elections. We'll take that for what it is. So you have Obama officials saying that it could have happened. Howard Dean saying that it could have happened. Obama officials saying no, it didn't. Yes, it did. It could have. But who ordered it is a completely different story. It could have been some sort of Obama proxy, to keep his name out of it. What we do know, and what has been reported on by the New York Times and various outlets, is that a FISA court was definitely involved. There were 2 FISA court orders denied in June and July of 2016. Which, by the way, that in itself is really bizarre. These things typically, FISA court orders have something like a 95% success rate in going through. So for two orders to be denied, they must have really had absolutely no evidence of any wrongdoing in the Trump campaign at all. However, you still have the one that was granted by a FISA court, and this is reported on by the New York Times on January 20th. You have the one existing FISA court order that was granted in October for whatever reasons we do not know. This FISA court, probable cause in these FISA courts is very vague, and it's very ambiguous. In fact, it's not even considered a real court. It's really more of a tribunal. It's all done in secret. There are no cross examinations. That mainly all the time, whoever is going to be spied on, they don't know it. It's kind of like a grand jury type thing. It's all secret. You don't know what's going on. You can't. There's no information released. All top secret. It's not even officially considered a branch of the U.S. Justice. The U.S. Justice Department. This isn't even a branch of any. It's not an official branch of any court, really. Excuse me. Like I said, it's basically a secret tribunal that meets to grant court orders to spy on either foreign nationals or citizens of the United States. So this is all very, very strange, and it's all the fact that it's all so secret really makes me think that there's a lot of truth behind this. Otherwise, why not just come out and say it? Why not just show the proof? Saying that no, this never happened. There was no wiretaps. No, none of this ever happened. Why not just come out and say that, rather than leave this whole thing hanging over the American people, where we don't know what the hell exactly happened? This is outrageous. It's really, really outrageous. It ticks me off. You have a duly elected president of the United States that is being criticized and dragged through the mud, and his administration is being sabotaged, and it's been sabotaged from the very beginning to try to discredit his presidency. And it's beyond me how in the world, in the United States of America, crap like this is allowed to fly. The partisanship, the nonsense, the games that the Democrat Party is playing is beyond me. And it needs to stop. Otherwise, we're going to have a hell of a 4 years. And then they're really going to have a hell of an 8 years if they keep this crap up. Because the American people, I'll tell you right now, folks, the American people could see right through this. I'm one of them. You're probably one of them. I know it. You know it. And everybody knows it. It's BS. Completely and utterly BS. So Obama coming out and denying it, and of course he would. Of course Obama's not going to admit this. And he's probably telling the truth. He probably never officially himself ordered spying on the Trump administration. But who knows? It doesn't mean it didn't happen. Any one of these so-called 17 or so of intelligence agencies could have ordered this. Which, by the way, that's nonsense. WikiLeaks debunked that whole thing. 17 intelligence agencies saying that Russia was colluding and trying to sabotage the Clinton campaign. That's nonsense. When James Clapper resigned, he issued a statement saying that he has no clear knowledge, that the United States intelligence agencies have no clear knowledge of how in the world WikiLeaks obtained this information. So, who knows? But once again, any one of these intelligence agencies could have ordered this wiretap and the spying. We know for a fact that Jeff Sessions was under surveillance coming and going from Trump Tower. God knows why. Because he had a meeting with the Russian ambassador, who, by the way, there's been pictures and videos and tweets and Facebook pictures of basically every single member of the United States Senate, Republican and Democrat, by the way, meeting with this guy. I don't even know who this guy is. A Russian ambassador meets with a lot of people, apparently. And then it's funny how that works. Nobody remembers meeting with him. None of the Democrats do. They all say, no, we never met with the Russian, and we'd never meet with the Russians. Well, you did. You bunch of liars, you did. And you got caught. And it was really stupid. In this day and age, anything on the internet, you could snap a picture with an iPhone, for God's sake. And you don't think that you meeting with the Russian ambassador not going to make some sort of, photo op or something? I mean, it's BS nonsense. So, by the way, oh crap, is that thing going off again? Sorry, folks, we're having a little bit of power issues here. I'll be right with you. Hang on. Hi, we're back on the air. Sorry about that, folks. We are continuing to have some power issues with our studio. So, the lighting and the fixtures are still trying to be fixed. We're a work in progress here. So bear with us. I apologize for the interruptions. But anyway, we're back. And as I was saying, so, Obama denying this does not necessarily mean that it never happened. Like I was getting into, any one of these so-called 17 intelligence agencies could have ordered this. Whether or not they did is unclear. I mean, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? We got people going around in circles saying, hey, I don't know. What do you know? I don't know. I didn't know anything about it. Which is complete and utter BS. I mean, what kind of intelligence gathering is our country doing? When you got spying on a presidential candidate at the time of the United States, wiretaps, whether Trump, but spying on Paul Manafort, spying on Trump officials, Jeff Sessions being under investigation and being spied on, coming and going from Trump Tower because he met with the Russian ambassador in his official capacity as United States Senator, by the way, which pretty much every single senator in the United States Senate has done. So, that's just a bunch of BS. So who knows who could have officially ordered something like this, but the bottom line is that it very well could have been ordered. And who knows who ordered it? There needs to be some sort of investigation into this. They certainly are wasting their time investigating Trump's potential connections to the Russian government. I mean, which is utter BS, by the way. It's been disproven time and time again. If they had evidence, if the Obama administration or any of them, if they had any evidence at all of President Trump colluding with the Russian government, it would have already been released. It probably would have been released in the upcoming weeks before the election, probably to just throw the election to Hillary Clinton, or it could have been released sometime after he was elected and in order to get him impeached. If there was any clear evidence of this, folks, trust me, it would have already been released. So basically, in my opinion, what they're doing is they realize that, after wiretapping and spying on and gathering intelligence of all these Trump officials and all this nonsense is going on, they probably realize that, hey, there's nothing to this. So now they're trying to cover their asses and cover it up. And like I said, Obama denying it doesn't mean it never happened. You got the NSA spewing BS. You got James Clapper coming out denying all this, even though it's been proven that these FISA court requests were heard and one of them was granted. And what came out of the one that was granted in October, we don't know. And we may never know. All of this is all secret. Us peons and, Americans we're not privy to this kind of information because, God forbid, we know what's actually going on in our country and with our government. Which is why you just basically, just don't trust everything the government tells you. You know, I used to be that way. You know, when I was in high school and getting up through that age, I was one of those guys. I was one of those GI Joe guys that, hey, the government's great, support our troops, which you should support our troops. I mean, I'm not saying that. But, that the war in Iraq was a good, we needed to go in there, we needed to fight in Iraq and all that. Well, it turns out that the American people were duped big time into that one. You talk about faulty intelligence. I mean, look at that. And then you try to tell me that the intelligence that Trump has anything to do with Russia is credible? I mean, you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. I mean, my God, folks. Don't be so naive. Don't believe these intelligence agencies that so-called, have such a stellar record, which they really don't. With the exception of the FBI, by the way. The FBI is actually the one that's done the most in the prevention of terrorism and in the prevention of attacks on U.S. soil. And that's actually the FBI. Interestingly enough, while the NSA spews its BS, the FBI is doing something interesting. James Comey, once again, an interesting character, someone who had a very, very definite role in the 2016 election. For whatever reasons, we don't really know. We don't know what James Comey's motives were, if any. We don't know what exactly the end game was for him. It has been reported that had Hillary Clinton won, that he certainly would not have retained his job. I strongly feel that he was at war with the Obama Justice Department. I strongly feel that he really did want to prosecute Hillary Clinton and was prevented from doing so by the Obama administration. So I think he probably had an axe to grind. I think he really did want to prosecute Hillary. So he laid it all out on the line that, yeah, actually she did break the law. And yeah, classified information was sent and received on her private server. And yeah, even though we can't really prove it, there's a good chance that this information was accessed by foreign entities. So, be that as it may, what James Comey's doing now is something interesting. James Comey's not coming out and saying that whether a wiretap occurred or not. He's passing it off on the DOJ, which is kind of funny. And I think he might be doing it on purpose. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. There are others that feel this way too. But, he is basically passing it off on the DOJ, saying that, hey, the FBI didn't order it. So, the DOJ, hey, you guys, hey, back us up here. The Department of Justice, we didn't order it, did you? Well, notice the silence coming from the Department of Justice. Department of Justice hadn't said really anything about this. The Obama Department of Justice has not said anything about this. So, kind of strange, folks. Kind of strange. I don't know. Personally, I think that James Comey is actually an ally of the Trump administration. I think he wants to work with President Trump. I think he got so sick and tired of the nonsense and the favoritism and the collusion and the pay for play and everything that Hillary Clinton was involved with. And I think, boy, he really wanted to prosecute her. And the Obama DOJ and Loretta Lynch, they basically refused. They said, if you even tried, we wouldn't go through with the case, so you're not going to press charges. Charges will not be recommended in this. So he did the best, he did the next best thing. He came out, basically laid the case out right in front of every American that we could all see. It was really a public lashing. No one's ever seen that before either. Normally, when the FBI announces that they're not going to press charges on something, they just come out and say that. They don't go into a 20, 25-minute long spiel about exactly how many laws Hillary Clinton broke. So, James Comey's silence on this and kind of passing it off on the DOJ, as it leaves me with mixed signals. And I believe that I believe that James Comey I believe he is a patriot. I believe that much was made clear when back in the Bush administration, him as the acting attorney general at the time, John Ashcroft was in the hospital. He couldn't be. He was. John Ashcroft delegated his duties to then Deputy Attorney General James Comey, who took one look at the NSA's Patriot Act spying on the American citizens and said, "Hell no, I'm not signing this. This is unconstitutional." And then he convinced everyone else in the Justice Department of the same thing. It was revealed long after this occurred, mind you, but President Bush would have been a one-term president had there been the mass resignation that would have taken place in the Justice Department, and this is all true, I'm not making it up. There would have been a mass resignation in the Justice Department had President Bush reauthorized the unconstitutional wiretapping that was going on for about 15 months, mind you, by the NSA. And James Comey took one look at it and said that wow, this is really not, this violates the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth, violated a bunch of amendments, and said, no, I'm not signing this. And you know what? John Ashcroft, when he's well enough, he's not going to sign it either, and we're all going to resign. There would have been the biggest resignation in the Justice, even bigger than in the Nixon administration. I mean, it would have derailed and devastated the Bush campaign had that happened. So I believe James Comey is an actual patriot. I believe that he has a lot more to do with this whole thing than you think. And when you think back to the 2016 election, and coming up in I believe 11 days to go, the reopening of the email investigation, no one really knows why he did that. I have my feelings, but it's unclear. But good for James Comey. I believe he's a man of conscience. And I believe that he wanted so bad to prosecute that nasty woman. However, he was held back by Loretta Lynch and the Justice Department. I mean, they weren't gonna take the case anywhere. So he did the next best thing. But getting off that, you got the intelligence agencies at war with one another, the NSA spewing BS, the FBI passing it off to the DOJ and blaming them, and now here we have the cycle, the blame game. And where it ends, nobody knows. So once again, we have a mess on our hands here, folks. We got people going around in circles blaming each other, blaming the other branches of the government, So we're the truth, who knows what the truth really is. Like the famous line from the X-Files, not to be a conspiracy theory, but the truth is out there, folks. We just got to figure it out. So, we got a mess on our hands. We got to get to the bottom of it. So, we'll see where this goes. Certainly, allegations like this aren't made unless there's some sort of evidence. So we'll see. We'll see. We're going to talk a little bit more about this tonight. Coming up tonight on a special edition of the Hoel Report, continuing coverage. We're going to continue into these claims along with the rest of the breaking news of the day. Breaking news today, actually, WikiLeaks. Do we love WikiLeaks? Hey, we love WikiLeaks, folks. Well, the long-awaited release of Vault 7 has officially been released. And it is being called, we're talking something to the effect of the CIA's Ed Snowden. So, join us tonight for another edition of the Hoel Report as we get into this and much, much more from the Beltway. For the Right Side Network, I'm Jim Hoel, and I am your voice. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.